The Kelowna real estate market had a healthy start to 2024, with sales of single-family homes increasing 23% over the same period last year. The number of sales doesn't tell the whole story though, so in this video, we'll take a look at prices, inventory, and give you some insights on what the market's doing and where it might be headed. And make sure you stick around right until the end so you can find out where you can get some free information to help you successfully sell your home this year. I'm Tyrell Boake, a realtor in Kelowna, and if you're new to the channel, I help you navigate the real estate market and provide you with useful information so you can make informed decisions that make sense for you. If you like this type of content, hit the like button and remember to subscribe so you don't miss out on future market update videos. Now let's take a look at what happened in my local market of Kelowna over the last month. The number of sales for a single-family home in January was up 23% from what we saw in 2023, with just under 80 sales of single-family homes in the area. But that number is down 50% from what it was in 2022. If we take a look at active listings, you can see that throughout 2023 we did have slightly more inventory than we had the previous year, and that trend is continuing into January. We're nowhere near the inventory levels that we had in 2019, which was closer to 4,000 available units, but inventory has grown over the last year. The benchmark price of a single-family detached home in Kelowna was $989,800 in January 2024, which is a 2.4% increase from the month before. That number is also a 2.3% increase year over year from January of 2023. If we look at the trend line for the benchmark price over the last 6 to 8 months, you can see that there was a plateau in June and July of 2023, and that's when the Bank of Canada made 2 consecutive quarter-point rate increases to their overnight lending rate. That was reflected in the prices into August and September, where it came down, and it bottomed out for the year at $966,000 in December. Over the last 30 days, that price has gone up to $989,000, but we have to wait and see for another month if that trend continues, or if this is just what some people call as a dead cat bounce, where it only will go up for 1 month, then it will continue its decline. If we take a look at the benchmark price of townhomes, in January 2024 it was $728,000, which is a 0.5% decrease from what it was in December. It's also a 0.9% decrease year over year from what the price was in January 2023. And if we look at the benchmark price trend line of townhomes, you can see that it had the same volatility in 2023 as single-family home prices did. It went up a little bit in February, it dipped down in March, then it increased through June and July when the Bank of Canada made those announcements, and then it steadily came down in the last quarter of the year. The benchmark price of a townhome continues to decline, and I think we're going to see that happening a little bit more because the gap between a single-family home at the benchmark price and a townhome just isn't big enough. When you factor in how much your strata payments would be on the typical townhome, that bumps your monthly payment up to about what it would be for a single-family home. I'd like to see that gap kind of increase a little bit more so that buyers have more choices at what price point they want to be. If we take a look at the benchmark price of a condo, in January it was $485,000, which is a 1% increase from what the price was in December. Year over year though, that price is down 2.1% from what it was in January 2023. The benchmark trend line for this shows the same thing it did for townhomes and single-family homes, is there was an increase in the spring of last year, the Bank of Canada made their announcements, and that price dipped down. Not quite sure what happened in October of 2023 and why there was a spike there, but overall the trend is a downward trend. It has shown some recovery in January, and like I said with single-family homes, it could just be a 1-month increase. We'll have to wait and see if that carries through February to decide if it's a trend or if it was just a one-off. If we look at the average price of a manufactured home, and we have to do the average price of a manufactured home because they don't do a benchmark price of manufactured homes because there's not a large enough sample size to come up with a formula to make a benchmark price. The average price of a manufactured home in January was down 27% from the previous month, but it wasn't a very big sample size with only 9 sales. So I don't think that there's reason to panic there that those prices have dropped down. But anybody that bought in January certainly got a deal from what the prices were on average in December. The average days to sell a home in Kelowna was 76 days for a single-family detached home, 72 days for a townhome, 57 days for a condo, and the aggregate selling price to the list price is 95%, meaning that buyers are getting a 4 to 5% discount off what the list price was on the home. And lastly, if we take a look at months of inventory, you can clearly see that we're in a buyer's market in all asset classes. In single-family detached homes, we have almost 11 months of available inventory. In townhomes, we have over 10 months of available inventory. And in the condo market, there's just under 9 months of available inventory. I do think that the level of inventory in condos is going to increase as we head into the spring because the new short-term rental regulations from the province are coming down and will be effective May 1st. And the city of Kelowna is also looking at further restricting short-term rentals other than just what the province is saying. So I do think that investors who are holding these that don't want to be long-term landlords are going to put these condos on the market, and we should see the level of inventory increase, which could put downward pressure on prices. If we take a broad 30,000 foot view of the real estate market in Kelowna, it was pretty flat year over year. There were price increases in the middle of the year, which were essentially erased by 2 policy rate announcements by the Bank of Canada in June and July, which essentially slowed down the real estate market. 2023 saw the fewest number of transactions in Canada over the last decade, but it looks and feels like sales activity is picking up, and that trend could continue throughout the spring market. Sales increased from a typical slowdown in December, and they were higher than they were last January, and I think that buyer activity is going to continue increasing over the spring as long as interest rates don't go up, and especially if interest rates come down more. We do have 10 months of available inventory, which is more than we had last year, and this is increasing choices for buyers, but it's increasing the competition for those buyers' eyes for sellers. If this trend continues and we stay in a buyer's market, we could see more downward pressure on prices, especially in townhomes and condos where first-time buyers are trying to get into the market. If you're looking to sell your home this year, hit the third link in the description where you can download my free Informed Home Sellers Guide, which has some valuable information which could help you have a successful sale this year. And if you have more questions about Kelowna real estate or real estate in the surrounding area, hit the first link in the description where you can book a call with me at a time that works best for you. We'll see you next time.